I was 21 years old. I was drafted. I was living in Cargable, Florida. The draft come up quick because it's 66, so there's a lot of going on in Vietnam. 66 and 67 were the worst 2 years in Vietnam. 21 years old, I was young, gun-ho, and I had a chance to go to the motor pool or go to the infantry. I chose the infantry because, like I said, I was young and foolish. I left the States going to the 25th Infantry Division. But when we got to Vietnam, the 196th Light Infantry Brigade had lost so many men, they sent me to the 196th Light Infantry Brigade. Everybody they sent there was 20, 21 years old, so it wasn't no one basically in charge of us or anything. They just told you what unit you would go into, and you work from there. If you're in the 196th Light Infantry Brigade, your biggest weapon is the M60 machine gun. You on the go all the time. You're not at no one place. You're out in the field. You ain't sleeping in no post or no tents or nothing like that. You're sleeping in your fatigues out in the field. Every day you're walking. Either you're fighting or looking for someone to fight. I'm 21 years old, and my first day in the field in combat, you in foxhole. It was a rough time. People getting killed every day, and it was one of those situations. I felt at first, it was okay. But when you see your people that you've been to basic training, AIT training, getting killed around you, life changes. It makes you harder. I was good at reading maps and everything, so basically I become a squad leader automatically. I was squad leader in B Company of the 21st Infantry Division. So I had a squad of my own. I knew how to read the maps. They loved me. My squad loved me because you taking your squad out at night and everything. You got to be where you're supposed to be at in case of something happened and you need to call in artillery and you don't know how to call in artillery or nothing. We've had some squads that didn't know how to call in artillery and call in artillery on themselves. And that's, you got to know what you're doing. But everybody in my squad loved me, and we walk all day. At night, we volunteer to go out to set up ambushes and things like this because, gun ho. But January the 21st, in a battle, I received my first Purple Heart. It was daytime. We got ambushed, and I received shrapnel in my wrist here, and I was shot in my lower part of my leg. They come get all the dead, put them up in the APC. Wounded, you got to climb up on top of the dead, and that's how you got out. Can you imagine 21 years old, you got to crawl up in there on them to get out? I went in the makeshift hospital then. It wasn't no hospital, a big old tent set up. You went in a makeshift hospital, got the lead and stuff out of you. A month later, you back out in the field. A special friend of mine I thought was wounded or dead, but we went charging in the battle. Excuse me a minute. Because I thought something happened to him. And later on, I found out he would looked at me when they put me in the APC to carry me out with nothing wrong with it. It's hard. It's even hard to talk about it. For me, because I'd never talked about it before. After I went to the hospital and everything, they stayed there for about a month. I went back to my same unit. Me being squad leader, I took over my same position. We go out in the field. In the 196, if you wasn't fighting and didn't have nothing to do, they come to commander, they monitor their radios all the time. If someone else needs some help, they send us to help them. And so on and so on. That's the way that went for the rest of that, basically the rest of that year. We had a company. Every company have go out on patrol. This company went out on patrol on a hill. Got blown up by a bomb. Well, over there, when we drop bombs, if they don't go off, the Viet Cong take them and set booby traps with those bombs. Some gonna make them go off. You walking down the hill or up, they were walking up a hill. Wasn't enough room on the other side of the path. They had to walk up this path. And the bomb blew up. Now, we don't have no way to get out there to them. So we on the road crew, bulldozers, front end loaders. I guess it was a blessing because you could hear all that junk coming through there. And the Viet Cong had to figure out APCs was coming. We didn't have nothing. I'm in a bucket of a front end loader, me and two other of my veterans. Collect the bodies. You go out picking up body pieces and stuff like that, putting them in your punch hole, throwing them up on the front end loader, trying to find enough pieces. We know it's 14 of them, so we got to try to find enough pieces to bring back. But that was another incident, but no. I lived through it. We got a sergeant in our squad. He was a new guy. And he leading the whole company on a mission. But like I say, I was good at reading maps. He wasn't. I kept telling him, we in the wrong place. No, he got the stripes, so I got to listen. Finally, we get to a large rice paddies. Time we got out there in them rice paddies, we got pinned down. Couldn't get no help because we in Cambodia. We had no business being in Cambodia. We had to stay in that rice patch all day till late that evening before they got permission for the gunship to come in and save us from that mission. In the wrong place. But sometimes your sergeants and everything, they don't listen to a corporal. Well, the next firefight I got wounded in, our people there dropped smoke. The North Vietnamese dropped the same kind of smoke. They don't land on helicopter anyway, they fly down low and you got to jump out the helicopter. We jumped out between the two smokes. We had people killed before they hit the ground. You hit the ground fighting. You don't have no choice. Basically, it's surrounded by the North Vietnamese troops. And then the APCs had to come in and help us. They don't wait till everything cleared out. They come in, they got their gunners and everything. They come in firing to help us get out. They asked us to stop, but then being young, my squad kept going until we couldn't go no further. That's when my machine gunner got killed and I got wounded. I always kept my machine gunner and my M79 man by my side. But that's where your firepower is. Machine gunner got killed. I got wounded. Another blessing, I lived to come home. Same thing. You went to a makeshift hospital. Went there, back to the camp where the 196 had. I didn't have about 3 or 4 weeks left in Vietnam. They sent me back out in the field. I led the squad through the whole time I was over there as a Spec 4. They say you can't be a Spec 4 and be a squad leader. I never did get promotion. All of my record is crystal clear. But in '66, the Army was prejudiced. The B Company, every squad leader, I'm the only black squad leader. I'm the only one that didn't get their strike. So what can I say? And I ended up with a sergeant major from Mississippi. He had a friend of his and son in my unit. I tried to get him to take him out, but he wouldn't, because he didn't do nothing he's supposed to do. Our last fight, he got killed. There go my strike. Simply because of this. I've been trying to get it since I've been out of service, but I've got nowhere. This is tragic. We see a lot of things, War is you get innocent people killed, soldiers killed, but that's war. I'm living today. I still have lead in the calf of my left leg that can't be took out. By that's being so bad, you put most of your weight on your right leg. My right leg is bad for the simple reason I had to carry all the weight on that. I'm 100% disabled, but that's about it. I just got Agent Orange that I had Agent Orange about 5 years ago. They don't tell you this, that you affected with Agent Orange. I come back, I've had 2 kids born with cancer. They died. My daughter born something wrong with her arm. They had to go in and redo her bone in her arm. Now when I get diabetic, I'm a diabetic, I get a letter, oh, you got Agent Orange. When you get back from Vietnam, the posts wouldn't even want you coming into their lodges if you're from Vietnam. It didn't affect me. They didn't like no veteran from Vietnam. And like me, I just stayed away from the public, you might say, with all of that, because things I never liked talking about. And this is my first time talking about Vietnam. Even till today, if I'm home, I stay in my bedroom. I don't have a whole lot of friends, and that's life. I suffer from post-traumatic stress. I'm a diabetic, but all of that's in life. But if they'd have recognized this when I was in service, when my kid died, they could have got help. But no, they didn't. I know they knew I had Agent Orange, but they don't admit this to you. Then when I become a diabetic, oh, you've been in Vietnam, you're a diabetic. You got Agent Orange.